Good times rolling in Philadelphia, coming off last night's
Yeah.
win over the Clippers, Doris. Do you trust this now? Because we've seen performances like this every now and then, especially at home from the Sixers. Do you trust them to get it rolling coming off of what was pretty much across the board seen as their best performance, especially from their big duo this year?
Yeah, there's nothing in their history to suggest this year that this is anything other than a solid home performance. And it clearly was. And I listened to the tape you just played from Brett saying this is the best game they've played together, right? Ben goes for a triple-double, and you could see his dominance in transition around the cup, doing any number of things. And I thought Joel Embiid, the 9 assists, as important to that was his willingness to run the floor and post early, because whether he gets those touches on the post or not, it immediately commands more than one defender to go to him in the post. And that commitment to playing hard by both guys every single trip down the floor is what's significant to me. Obviously, Josh Richardson was a monster in the fourth quarter. That's not the first time that's happened this season. Listen, I haven't yet given up on them because there is so much talent. But the fact of the matter is this has been consistent with what they've done all season. And until they prove it on the road, I'm not a believer yet either.
Well, I guess I would say that too. To say it's their best game they've played together, it's 55 games this year. And oh, by the way, it's not the first year they've played together. So pardon me if I don't scratch my head and say, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, listen, the reason everybody believed this team had a chance was because of the talent, the length, everything they could be defensively with that starting unit. What's fascinating to me is Al Horford, for the first time since 2007, goes to the bench. And after the game, he says, this is not obviously where I envisioned myself, but if it's what's best for the team, I'll handle it. And so he'll be a pro. But Furkan Korkmaz gets his first start, Mike, after going for back-to-back 30 points. And I've been talking about this all year. Do the Sixers have enough shooting? Well, you're thinking Korkmaz is really coming. He's starting to knock down shots consistently. They put him in the starting lineup, and he goes 0 for 5. So there remain inconsistencies with this group. You've added 2 pieces in Glenn Robinson III and Alec Burks. You've got about 27 games to get them right. Milwaukee is doing things this year that we have never seen done. They're building championship habits. They are coming at you every single night. They're going to be hard to beat. And so you can't, if you're the Sixers, turn it on and turn it off, and you certainly better be able to beat them on the road because they're going to have home court advantage in whatever series you play them in.
We're talking to Doris Burke on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Golic and Wingo. Jason fits in for Trey with Mike Golic Jr. Doris, let me sort of feed into the conspiracy theorist a little bit. I'll give Stats and Info some great credit for this nugget from last night. Paul George said after the game, the 76ers got his quote, home court cooking in terms of the foul discrepancy. But the 76ers are, the foul rate at home versus on the road is alarmingly different. It's much bigger than anybody else on the road. Why are they getting less, a more favorable officiating at home?
That's interesting. I do think they press the pace more at home, but I also think there's been times they've not had Joel Embiid on the road. And let's remember that that's a guy who's north of 8 free throw attempts per game. I don't know how many road games he's missed off the top of my head. I'd have to look hard at that. And so it's an interesting disparity. I can't really speak to it other than, number one, they play with more force and pace at home. I think that is clear. I'll go back to what I saw against Milwaukee on Christmas Day. So they've dominated quality opponents at home. Not for the first time. I think it has something to do with force and pace.
Talking to Doris Burke with us, our ESPN NBA analyst on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Doris, we also had a big night from Zion last night at home, 31 points for him, led all scorers. As we start to see a sample size build for him, and I know it's still early in all this, but what's the best thing that you've seen from Zion so far, and what's the biggest area you still see for improvement as we go along?
Yeah, I thought the array of moves he was able to score on, the handle in a spin move in traffic. We knew about the explosiveness. So I think, to me, the array of finishes, he's not taking a ton of threes, obviously, but contributing to winning in multiple areas. What's extraordinary to me, and when I had them about 10 days ago, the stat was something like Zion gets like 79% of his own misses. Like he scores it or gets 79% of his own misses. Like the quickness off his feet. We talk about second jump quickness. This guy has third and fourth jump quickness. And then the passing ability. He goes for 31 points but has 5 assists. He joins only LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Luka Doncic as 19-year-olds to go at least 31, 9, and 5. Like, that's extraordinary stuff. And the fact of the matter is, he came out of the gates and everybody was talking about conditioning. Well, only repetition in an NBA game is going to kind of continue to get you there. So I'm excited about the young man. I loved watching him at Duke, and it's been fun and limited opportunities in the NBA as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.